Hi, my name is Joe Minicozy. I'm Vice President of the Asheville Downtown Association, and what I'm about to present for you today is basically a conversation that we've been having over the past several years about managing downtown and how downtowns function. And as part of that, one of the things that we wanted to get to is the essence of what Asheville is, how Asheville is doing economically, but also how does Asheville stack up against other downtowns across the state. So what you're about to see is a whole presentation about a lot of data that's gone on for about a year, and how it works out with Asheville. But to know this, we have to know the Downtown Association. Now, the Downtown Association, our mission is to be the voice of downtown community, to promote and support quality economic, cultural, and residential development of downtown Asheville, which is a very valiant mission. But it's also, when you look at it against other missions and other groups involved in the downtown, you start to see a lot of duplicate work. And I just as a kind of a study, I took all of everybody's mission statement from the city, our mission, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, DARN, the Downtown Asheville Residential Neighbors, Eagle Street Market, as well as Lexington Avenue Merchants Association, and just laid all of their text together just to see what popped out, what was the thing that we all were concerned about. And you see certain words get bigger, and this is because they get repeated more often. So things like downtown development, economic development, community development, you see that it's a lot of business and community issues that are really important to us, that's important to our organization as well as these other organizations. So since we're all repeating a lot of the same mission work, could we all start to get together? That's one thing that we need to talk about. Knowing where we are today, a lot of it we have to know where we've been. So looking back, there was a lot of public investment that went into the community. There's a lot of private investment that happened in the community to make downtown what it is today in the year 2010. But it all starts back in 1977 when the City Council, with the draining of downtown, the City Council took action to create this thing called the Asheville Revitalization Commission, which mutated into the Asheville Downtown Commission that we have today. Now, I have here a picture of Elvis just to kind of give you an idea of how long ago that was. It was when the year that Elvis died was the year that this was created. Since that time, we've seen several employers or large businesses retained for the downtown. So like Axona Building, even though it may be a semi-suburban kind of layout, it is still a corporate headquarters in the downtown. We see the Wall Street project happened. Our organization was started in 1988. You had liquor by the drink was passed. The city approved outdoor dining. Before that, it was illegal. Those are all the things that we live with today of having a vital street or streets. We had the city build 2 garages in the downtown, making places for people to park. The city and the county also kept a lot of the large institutional employers in the downtown, a lot of the institutional amenities like the Civic Center, the county building, the city building. So these things are very important from a public standpoint to reinforce and validate downtown. We all know that downtown is many more things than that. It's cultural, it's arts, it's institutions, the many churches that are downtown, and it really is the diverse heart of the community that really keeps it vital to the community. That's all the social side of it, but what about the money? What's the cash flow that's going through the community? What's the value from an economic side? And we'll start with the retailing and what's going on in Asheville compared to the other communities. And the numbers that we're about to go through are all for the static year of 2008 and how every community operated in 2008, which wasn't a great year. It wasn't the worst year either, but there was a precipitous drop happening in the economy at this time. Looking backward over the community, what we have here is the blue is the retail sales in Buncombe County in total. The red is our population in Buncombe County growth. So you start to see that the difference between these 2 lines is it's not us that's doing all of the sales in Asheville. That you have a larger growth happening in the retail that's much larger than how we're growing as a population. Another way to think about it also is that 75% of all retail sales that happen in Buncombe County happen in Asheville. So when you look back at this blue line, we don't have the data broken down. The state doesn't maintain a more detailed analysis of where in Asheville is this money coming from. But we know that there are several milestones that happen in Asheville that we can make an educated guess to where it's coming from. So what happened in Asheville around 2000, and that's when downtown probably started taking off at its fastest rate. And you see that in that 8-year time period, we gained as much retail sales as the previous 30 years, which is an amazing amount of growth in the community. And again, 75% of this is happening in Asheville. So when you look at that against other cities, you see a spike in that data. That the blue mountain range is the retail sales tax generated. The red is what is returned to that actual municipality. So you see Asheville in the center of all of this. This is the cities ranked by population. We have Raleigh at one end and Salisbury at the other. And what we did is we took 11 cities bigger than Asheville and 11 cities smaller than Asheville generally as our sample set. We didn't go to Charlotte because Charlotte was just a horse of a different color. It was just too big in data. But you see a huge disparity between the amount of taxes created in Asheville and the amount that's returned to Asheville. And we'll get back to that in a second. So there's 75% of the sales tax created in Buncombe County comes from Asheville. Asheville sees about 28 cents return on the dollar of that tax generation. The rest of it is distributed to the county and other municipalities like Black Mountain, Montreat, and that's just done through a formula at the state. When you look at our Asheville against other cities in the sample set, we happen to be the biggest loser. We get about 27 cents on the dollar back. You look at the other cities from Raleigh down to Salisbury. Wilmington gets 28 cents on the dollar back. The way that the formula runs is the state created two different formulas. You can distribute through a model that's called ad valorem, and there's a formula for that. Or you can do it on a per capita percentage, and there's a formula for that. In both cases, they return a higher density of that tax dollar to the counties from those municipalities. But one returns more to the counties than the other. So you have in the per capita method, more of the dollar on average comes back to the municipality than the ad valorem method. And you see the averages of the sample pool in yellow, these two bars. So you have the average sample pool at around 38 cents on the dollar for ad valorem, and you see about 53 cents on the dollar for per capita. Asheville, Buncombe County chooses once a year to select which formula they want to use, and in this year of the sample set, they chose ad valorem, and Asheville got 28 cents on the dollar. Just for the sake of the model, I ran a what-if scenario if they had chosen this model, and we would have seen about not a huge jump, but a jump that was big enough. We would have gone up to about 33 or 34 cents on the dollar, which would have been about $3.5 million more tax return to Asheville of that retail sales tax created in Asheville.